Hello guys, welcome to my second video. In this video, we will be going over user inputs and mathematical equations. So, first of all, user inputs. Let's imagine that you are creating an interface for someone and you need to know their name and their age. So you can go ahead and call the method input. And inside of the quotation marks, it's what you are going to ask them. So let's go ahead and put, what is your name? So when you put a question mark right there and add a space so he can answer, when you run it, as you can see here, you'll see the terminal asking, what is your name? And right here, the user can write anything they want. So I'll put my name, and as you can see here, it registers the name, and then it puts it. So let's concatenate it the right way right here by putting an addition sign. And let's also do the same for my age. So input, what is your age? So this no longer is accurate because you are asking the user for his name, so it's no longer your name. So let's just go ahead and modify it because it's good practice. However, if you want to modify it and make everything modify along with it, you can go ahead and highlight it, right click, go to refactor, and then rename. Now if you go ahead and modify it here, let's put user age. Look right here. It also changes it to user age. So that's really useful when you use a variable tens or maybe hundreds of times. So let's go ahead and go and do this. As you can see, it's once again put in a tight position. So let's concatenate and a space. So to add a space, I would just go ahead and put a space inside of quotation marks. However, you can tell the user to put a space at the end of his name, and that will be easy. However, this solution is generally better. So now if you run it, and what is your age? You can see that it now says Jacob and 18. Now, I'm going to give you a challenge. I'll show you what I want the output to be. Now, I want you to create a program that asks you your name, so the user can input it. Then I want it to ask you your age, and then print, hello, the username. You are the user's age, years old. Now, I'll give you 5 seconds. Pause the video while you do it, and I'll be right back. Okay, so welcome back, guys. Now, this is a solution I came up with. Of course, there are various solutions. First of all, as the same as the last time, ask for the username with an input that asks, what is your name? Then do the same for the user age. And now while printing, you have to concatenate a string. Now, I wrote it with hello, with a space at the end, plus the username, plus a comma, then a space, and then you are, with the space at the end. And then finally, put the user age and years old. Now, while this works, there is an easier way to do it. You can create a formatted string. Now, you may be wondering, what's a formatted string? Well, you have to write an F outside of the quotation marks, and you'll see that PyCharm automatically recognizes it as a formatted string because it is green. So inside of it, you can write hello, and inside of brackets, you can put the user name, and then you are user age, years old. Now, what does this do? Well, anything that is outside of the brackets is a normal string, which is represented by the green. As you can see here, everything in here is green. However, what is inside the brackets is no longer a string. Now you can put mathematical equations here, you can put variables, you can basically put anything. So I'm going to put 3 plus 5 so you can see. And when you run this, you'll see it asks you for your name like usual. So you can put Jacob, then, or your name, then your age, and then you'll see it prints hello, and instead of the username, it tells you the value that is in there. So Jacob, you are 18, so this is the user age, years old. And as you can see here, the mathematical equation 3 plus 5, it did it as a mathematical equation and it didn't place it as a string. Now, formatted strings are really useful when you want to do stuff like this to present it to the user in a better way, and you don't want to be concatenating strings in a very weird way. So the next thing we'll see is mathematical equations. Now, Python is very intuitive with operations. You can go ahead with many of them and just go 3 plus 3 and it'll tell you 6, or 3 times 3 and it'll tell you 9. However, there are several ones that are more complicated. For example, if you wanted to do exponents, you'd have to do a double multiplication sign. So this is the same as 3 to the exponent of 2. So when you run this, it will give 9, as you can see here. Now, when you want to comment out a line, for example, let's go ahead and say, this is a mathematical example. Now, as you can see here, this line isn't being run. However, if you put this is a mathematical example without the hashtag signal, you'll see that it comes with an error. So whenever you want to put a comment for a person reading your code, or for yourself when you are reading the code in a few years or months even, you put it with a hashtag and then whatever you want to write. This will not be executed. It will be completely ignored by the computer. So this is exponents. When you want to multiply, once again, you go just a simple multiplication sign. Now, if you want to do addition, it's enough with the plus sign, so addition. And very similar to the addition, the subtraction, it works completely fine. 5 minus 2, let's go ahead. And this will be subtraction. Division also works pretty intuitively. You can go print 12 divided by 3. And I'll run this in a second. Division. So as you can see here, 5 minus 2 is 3. 5 plus 5 is 10. 3 times 2 is 6. 12 divided by 3 is 4. And 3 to the second power is 9. Now, whenever you are doing something like multiple operations with PEMDAS, Python actually does it completely for you. So you can go ahead, 3 plus 5 times 2 divided by 3. And let me put some spaces in here so it's more understandable. And as you can see here, for those of you who know how to do this, first of all, you'll multiply 5 times 2, which is 10, divided by 3 will be 3.333, plus 3 will be 6.3. And as you can see here, it actually gives us the value. So this is really useful because you don't actually need to know math to use mathematical operations in Python. And last but not least are some of the other things you can do with basic math in Python. So you can go ahead and do 3. Well, I'll go 15 divided by 3. Now, this will give you, this is very similar to the division. However, it will give you a integer. So actually, let me put 16 here. So as you can see here, 16 divided by 3 is not 5. It's 5.3. However, this rounds it down. It will always round it down. So if you want something that rounds, this is not the solution. Now, something pretty interesting as well is the percentage sign. So let's go 17 percentage sign 3. Now, this will give you the remainder. So 17 divided by 3 is 5, and it has 2 remaining. And when you do the percentage sign, this is what is being returned. Now, Python doesn't have a square root. However, you can go ahead and import math. Now, these are modules. These are modules created by other people, which sometimes have things that you can use. Now, when you are thinking something, it is likely that other people have thought of it as well. So let's do as an example square root. Now, square root of 81 will be equal to 9. And as you can see here, this returns it. And those are all of the mathematical operations that you can do in a basic example. Something else that is really useful is storing things inside of variables. So let's put x is equal to 15 plus 3 divided by 1.5 multiplied by 20. And let's put y is equal to 12 plus 5 minus 3. And this divided by 3. So now you can go ahead and do something like c is equal to x divided by y. And what it will do is do this operation first, then do this operation, and then do the value that it got from this one divided by the value that it got from this one. Now, you don't actually need to be able to do this because Python will automatically do it for you. As you can see here, we got 3.4375. Now, Python in math is really useful because it can basically do anything and you don't even have to simplify it for it. However, algebra is a bit of a different story. Now, remember when I told you that variables have to have a descriptive name? Well, that is still true. I wouldn't name this sets normally. So if I want to refactor it, just go ahead and rename and put math operation 1 and math operation 2 underscore 2. Now you also have to rename this if you didn't use the refactor option. And finally refactor this to math operation 3. Now when you are naming variables, the Python convention is to write everything in lowercase. Then whenever you are separating words, use an underscore. And that's basically it. However, if you are naming something that will never change, you can actually name it in uppercase. So for example, number since I know that this will never change because this number will always be equal to 3, it is an operation and I know I won't use it in the future, then I can use it as an uppercase to tell the people, okay, this is just here as a constant. It will never change, and it isn't a mathematical operation or something. Thank you for watching this second video. If you liked it, please like and subscribe.